and welcome back to another video. I'm Shah and this is Thoroughly Enjoyed Books. Today I'm bringing you a Trash My TBR. I have 8 books that I want to show you that have been on my bookshelves for years. Because of booktube, I bought all these books because of people on booktube and then just never read. And it's got to a point where I probably won't read a lot of these books, but I want to. Part of me still wants to, because at the time I bought these books, I had so many expectations for them, people loved them, and I was desperate to read them. These are the books that have such strong memories attached to me buying them, that I want to read them. However, they have got to a point where I've lost interest, or I've forgotten what they are about, and I need a nudge to read them. So what I want you to do is trash this TBR. Tell me the worst things about these books so that I probably don't want to read them. Tell me the best things about these books if you really think I need to read them and will enjoy them. Tell me whether you think I will love them or not. And then I want to go away with the results of your discussion and read maybe the 2 or 3 that you guys think I will love despite the time that's passed, and the 2 or 3 that you guys think I will hate, and then come back to you with my thoughts. That's how we're doing this. This is a trash or treasure my TBR, shall we say. I have 8 books here and I'm just gonna get right into them. The first I have is I Tell You I Love You, But Then I Have to Kill You by Ali Carter, which is the first book in the Gallagher Girls series. This is a spy heist novel set, I believe, in a girls' boarding school. This series first came out in 2006, and I think I bought this in about 2012. And at the time, it was really popular. I think the last book in the series had just come out or was about to come out, so there was a lot of hype surrounding this. And this was one of the first books that I remember discovering because of booktube, and when I saw it in the works, I had to get myself a copy. As you can tell, we are now about 8 years later and I never read it. I think that the time has just passed for me to read this book, because obviously in 2006 I was 11 years old. I'm, you know, in my mid-20s now. I'm not that child anymore. So I think maybe the time has passed for this series and I probably won't enjoy it. But I would still like you guys to tell me whether or not this series is worth it, because I probably won't read the whole series, let's be honest. Even if I loved this, I probably wouldn't read the whole series. But I would love to give it a go. And I want to know whether it is going to be a hate read or a guilty pleasure read maybe. So tell me your thoughts on this one. The next one we have is Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger, which I bought because of Vibka from One Book One Review. This series is steampunk, set in a ladies' finishing school, but they are again spies. There's a theme with these books, I think you'll find. I must have went through a phase where this sounded so interesting to me, because we had the Gallagher Girls, we got this series, the next book is kind of in a similar vein. And this is basically just about girls who go to a finishing school to learn how to be spies. It's in the name, Etiquette and Espionage. Vibka loves Gail Carriger. I think she has another series called the Umbrella Protectorate series, I can't remember, which is an adult steampunk. Not something I'm into these days, but I have very strong memories attached to this book because I bought it on a trip to Edinburgh, which is my favourite city, and I bought it at the same time as I bought Stardust by Neil Gaiman, which I read, and I can't remember if I enjoyed actually, but thinking back to it now, I like that book. So maybe I will like this just because of all the memories attached to it, but maybe I'm not reading it because of all the memories attached to it and I don't want to ruin those memories. Is this series worth giving a go or not? Another book I have was recommended to me by Jean from Bookish Thoughts, and every time I say I'm in a reading slump, she tells me to read this book, and I just never ever do. And I think the series as a whole intimidates me. And it's A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. Like with the previous ones, this is about a girls' finishing school. It is about 16-year-old Gemma Doyle, whose mother is killed in India, and she moves back to England and goes to a boarding school and determined to uncover a mystery that she believes is behind her mother's death. I don't know anything else about this, but I know when I started booktube this series was still coming out, and the 3rd book was huge, which completely put me off because this is a normal size book. I think the 2nd book is a little bit bigger, and then the 3rd book just looks like 2 mashed together, which was kind of a theme back in early 2010s, where a series would be a trilogy and then the last book would be huge, because really there should have been another book, or it should have been edited down a lot more. So this is a series that I think I'm scared to start. So I want to know whether it is worth it or if I should just quit while I'm ahead. The next one is intimidating to me because it is another first book in a series. But the reason I'm so scared about this one is because this author, people either seem to love or hate. Like 90% of booktube love her, 10% of booktube hate her. I've never heard anybody say, she's okay. A Dark Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This story in particular doesn't appeal to me, so I don't know why I have it. Actually, that's a lie. I won the first 2 books in the giveaway. But this book, it's never appealed to me. Even when I've been told like the second and third book have pirates in, which is like my favourite thing, I'm not interested. It's set in a world where there are 4 Londons and each London has got like different magical abilities and a different selling point, I guess. And one character hops between these worlds. I don't know. It sounds complicated, it sounds convoluted, and I'll either love it or hate it. So why would I risk it? Should I risk it? We next have Submarine by Jo Dunthorne. This was recommended to me by my friend Charlie from Charlie Reads, and I'm pretty sure I spoke to Charlie recently and she told me that I will still love this, but I just don't think I will. This kind of feels like a cult classic. It is a coming of age story about a 15-year-old boy who is discovering his sexuality, and to me it just reminds me of the likes of John Green, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and all those early 2010s teen YA, like the kind of teen YA that was trying to be something cool, trying to be mature, and is just boring. I feel like there'll be a manic pixie dream girl in this book. I feel like I'm gonna hate the main character, and yet somehow every time I see this book I want to read it. I just never grab for it. This is another book with very strong memories attached to when I bought this. I bought this book on a family holiday. It was actually the last family holiday I went on back in 2012 when I was going through my first breakup. I think maybe I've passed this one as well. I don't know. That's the thing with all these books, isn't it? I'm like, This is the book that I think I'm most likely to get to out of this pile, but it's the one I've probably heard the least about. And it is Trouble by Non Pratt. This is an ARC version, and this came out in March 2014. So this book came out 6 years ago, and probably nearly 7 years ago. So I've had this book for 7 years. This is the kind of YA book that I wanted to read when I was like 15, but I think I just missed it just missed me. It came out when I was like 19, so I just felt maybe I was a little bit old. And this is about, I think, a 15-year-old girl who falls pregnant, and her friend, her male friend, steps in to help her raise the baby, but they have a completely platonic relationship. And to me that sounds fascinating, and when this book first came out, loads of people seemed to really hype this book up, and then it just disappeared. And ever since then, I've just not had the urge to pick it up. But I think it was such a brave novel. This was when YA wasn't as, expansive as it is now. It was just starting to get gritty, and it was kind of still in the educational bracket. A lot of the books were about specific issues, but they were never allowed to be demonstrated in a positive light. Sex was never allowed to be this positive thing. It was also always a negative, and I think that this book came about that time when everything was starting to change and YA was starting to be a bit more, actually this is how young adults and teenagers live. This is what happens. I am still intrigued by this one. I'm just worried that it isn't as good because everybody seemed to go quiet on it. But like I said, it's probably the one I'm most interested in still out of all these. Then the next book was recommended to me by Ariel, and this is Everybody Sees the Ants by ASK. Now, I bought this and Ask the Passengers around the same time as each other. Again, it's from that era of YA that is very John Green-esque. It feels quite pretentious. But from what I've heard about ASK, she writes weird books, and the only one I've read by her was obviously Ask the Passengers, and I didn't like that book. Apparently I gave it 5 stars when I read it, but I remember reading it and not enjoying it. I have very mixed feelings on that book, but I think because I didn't enjoy it, I never wanted to read this one, and I'm at the point now where I couldn't tell you what this is about. I will never be in the mood for this book because I don't know what it's about. I've never felt the urge to pick it up because I've got no idea what it's about, other than it's probably a bit weird. So if I didn't enjoy Ask the Passengers, do I bother with this one? What is it about? And then the last book I have is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I have bought this book twice. I've bought the hardcover twice. I bought the first book when it first came out years ago, and then I lost it. I left it at an ex-boyfriend's house and we broke up, and I never got a lot of the books back that I left at his house. And then I saw it again last year in a pound shop and I had to get it because how often do you get books like this in a pound shop? This book is gorgeous, so I want it in my collection whether or not I ever read it. I have the second book, The Mime Order, a signed edition. I think I even have the third book as a signed edition somewhere. Don't quote me on that. But I don't know what this book is about either, and I think because I've put it off for so long and I know less and less about it as time goes by, that's what is putting me off. It's the first book in a 7-book series. The 4th book isn't out yet. It's the next one to be released, so it's a long time between books. The series seems to be going on forever, which I think delays my interest as well. So many people again really enjoy this book, and I think the only thing I know about it is it's about a girl who's clairvoyant in a world where that's illegal. Other than that, I haven't got a clue what it's like, but it's beloved on booktube. Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction loves it. Becca from Becca in the Books loves it. So many people love it, and I just have no strong feelings. And obviously Samantha Shannon is quite popular at the minute because of this series and because of Priory of the Orange Tree. Do I give it a go, or do I just resign this book to my beautiful bookshelf? Here are all the books that I still have on my TBR from when I first started booktube, and books that I've lost a lot of interest in over time, either because I've forgotten what they're about, or I feel I might have outgrown them, or I've just forgotten about in general, forgot they were on my shelves. Like I said, I would love for you to tell me which of these books you think I will still love if I was to read them now, and which ones are absolute garbage. Try and trash all of them if you can. Help me dwindle down this collection. But I do want to do like a vlog reading, like I said, the couple of books that you think I will love and the couple of books you think I'll hate, because I feel like that could be really entertaining. And then check in at a later date, in 5 years time probably, when I've read them all. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed filming it and picking out the books that I bought a long time ago and I still have strong memories about. I want you to really go hard in the comments down below and just comment, you know, the worst things you can think about these books, and convince me which ones I need to get rid of. As usual, I will leave my links down below to my Twitter, my Goodreads and all that cool stuff. Come and follow me on there and talk to me about books, and I can't wait to see you in another video very, very soon. Take care. Bye.